empowered to become a successful, contributing member of society. We will foster a culture of ownership and accountability through partnerships that create multiple pathways for success. Mr. McDaniel, would you mind calling the roll for us?
Absolutely. Colonel Katrina Smith. Present. Daniel Gray.
Here.
Ava Coleman.
Present.
Jim Moore is absent. Lauren McDaniel is present. Dana Tony.
Here.
Lauren Martin.
Here.
And Laura Walker.
Here.
All right, all three. We have a quorum.
We got some hot mics. And welcome Colonel Smith, our new Mission Support Commander at Little Rock Air Force Base. All right, if everyone would join me as we stand for a moment of silence followed by the pledge.
Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
I turned it off, but it's, I think it's down here. This is the cord, but they're off, so I don't know.
It's in the whole
Yeah,
system. Should be fixed now.
just need to jiggle the cord.
It wasn't plugged in all the way.
Are we good?
Okay. Thank you.
All right. First item on our agenda this evening, we've got a special presentation from our curriculum and partnerships team.
Yes, Dr. Amanda Picard. And board member, as Dr. Picard prepares, I've asked her to also share, in lieu of my superintendent's report, to give an update on the Atlas assessment. You have a copy at your desk, but I wanted her to give a detailed report, highlight, and then she'll follow up next month with a more detailed report. But I want to share, since these are hot off the press from last week, I wanted her to give her the opportunity to share that with you as well. Dr. Carter, do you have your copy? Okay.
So this is not the data report. This is a report from curriculum about, it's kind of three things that we get asked the most and that you'll probably get asked in the community this next year. One of them is the Read by 3 third grade retention law. And so that came out in the Learns bill, but it's for this year. So it'll affect our this year's third graders. Basically what it says is that if you're not on grade level by grade 3, you are recommended for retention unless you have some qualifying factors. Now qualifying factors could be things like an IEP, 504, dyslexia interventions, English as a second language interventions for consecutive 2 years during our Titan time. So there's lots of qualifying factors, but that's the law that goes into place this year. We started working on it in the walk-in out and last year. One of the things we did with our second graders last year was parent plans that went home, video lessons, and so I feel like we're in a really good spot for this. At the bottom on the screen, you'll see some things highlighted in yellow that come from the law. And really the only thing that we don't have in place already is to assign them to a teacher with a high model score, is basically what it says. And we haven't rostered kids like that in the past, but we can moving forward if they're in fear of retention. But that's the third grade Read by 3 law. Another one that's in place now is the numeracy law. And this talks about math interventions, and we get lots of questions about why are we doing so much math tutoring when we've been so literacy focused in the past. Math now is our lowest area. And the numeracy law basically says if you're not proficient in math, you have to have high dosage tutoring. So for us as a district, our high dosage tutoring has been our UALR residents. We've paid them, city year course members, and our own teachers, and we've used a program called Dreambox. This last year, it was the first year for it. to deliver the math interventions in accordance with the law. We are changing for this coming up year, and Dreambox is going away. It did not give us what we hoped it would give us. We did a small pilot, but we were not able to scale it up this last year. So we're going to a different one called Think First that we vetted all throughout the year, and it's an AI partial program. So it has more diagnostic measures in it. And then the last question actually came from Mr. McDaniel. He had asked in one of the past board meetings about the curriculum action items, because it felt like they were coming pretty often. So I was going to explain where those curriculum action items come from. We run by the standards of accreditation, and the standards of accreditation say on the first arrow that each district board of directors shall annually adopt and implement a written curriculum aligned to the standards. So that's what we ask you to do. You'll actually get it next month, and it has a website at the bottom. The website is where all of our curriculum is, all of our written curriculum. So that's the first part of it. The second part says, reading, writing, speaking, and personal success skills shall be incorporated in all the curriculum areas. For that, for us, that's AVID. So we have AVID aligned in all those areas, and that's what makes our curriculum complete by standards of accreditation. For AVID, it has Wicker strategies, and they make up all of the speaking and personal skills, organization, collaboration. So that's where AVID fits into the puzzle piece. For this year, you'll also get another action item mid-year, and it'll be for science curriculum. This is our adoption timeline, and every 6 years we re-adopt. That doesn't mean we have to get new things, but we assess the curriculum to see if it does need a new adoption. So this year will be science, and you'll get that action item whenever we adopt science. So that was 3 of our most frequently asked questions. Do you guys have any questions?
Question about the 3rd grade retention. Just trying to learn, midway through the year, do we kind of have an idea of ones that we're kind of keeping an eye on?
We have an idea now.
Okay.
We have an idea coming out of 2nd grade.
Okay.
A matter of fact, we have a list that we're watching. And in our guiding coalition this next year, our very first guiding coalition agenda, that is set in September, we're also going to look at that list there. And we have a whole district team that's going to follow these kids just to make sure.
I assume there's a meeting coordinated with their parents as well. It's early in the year.
Well, anybody that, yes, not necessarily for risk of retention yet, there will be one of those, but everybody that's for risk of retention is such a low score that last year they had to have a plan that had to be signed by their parents 2 times. So there'll be no surprises that they are below grade level. And so those conversations will start happening this year. Any other questions? Dr. O, would you like me to go straight into the data presentation or come back when it's your?
Well, since you're already there,
Okay.
we can go ahead.
Just-
If you want to stop sharing there, I can share.
It's been a long summer. Can you refresh my memory? What does ELA stand for?
English language arts.
Okay, thank you.
We usually just say literacy, but English language arts.
Okay.
You can go ahead. They have copies and I'll bring it up.
So in front of you, you have some data from our Atlas test, which is our summative test at the end of the year, ACT and AP. And I'm going to briefly walk you through it. But before I start going through the data, I kind of want to set up what you're looking at. So oftentimes when the principals present, they'll present to you growth data. Growth data measures if a student grows at all. So if they are literacy and they take the test and they grow 1 point, then they've grown, and that's growth data. That's not the data you're looking at. You're looking at proficiency data. This is the data I'm concerned about. I want to know if we're moving kids to grade level. So the percentages that you're seeing here are kids that are on grade level. Hopefully all of our kids have grown, but I want to know who we've grown all the way to grade level. So that's what we're looking at, percent proficient. So in saying that, I might have brought the wrong glasses for my little, let me take these off here. So the first picture you'll see is just our overall score. So it's 45% below that are at risk, which keeps us out of level 4. You know, last year we went out of level 4, and our goal this year was to stay out of level 4, and we didn't. We stayed out of level 4, so we are still not in academic distress for level 4. And then the next box you're looking at is our ELA scores by proficiency. You have last year's proficiency and this year's proficiency. And what I'm looking at to see is it takes several years to grow a child to grade level if they are grades behind. And we started this process in ELA about 3 or 4 years ago with the new curriculum. So right now, we should be seeing kids growing and being on grade level. If there's a green box, that means that we have moved the proficiency over to grade level. So for 3rd grade, 4th, I feel like a teacher, I need a pointer in my, I need a laser pointer. So what this first graph is telling you is that in 3rd grade, Merle Taylor added to their proficiency. In 4th grade, Biamita, Bobby Lester, Merle Taylor, and overall as a district, we met proficiency, grade level. And then you see 5th grade, and the ones highlighted green are the ones proficient. We need to do something different.
Should we wait until the end if we have questions, or would you rather them be asked now?
Either way, you can give them to me now as we go along.
What is considered, is it like 50% when you get into academic, whatever, what would you call it?
Yes, 50%.
Okay, I was just curious on what that was.
50%, and we came out close to this last year, and
Yeah.
our hope was just to stay or be better. But it was also based on a different test the year before. And so a lot of rumblings happened last year about, oh, you guys just got out of level 4 because it's a different test. Well, now it's the same test, and we're still out of level 4. So that's a good thing, I think, that we're seeing there. Thank you, Dr. Owen. So now on the screen. So what you're seeing a trend on this is our 3rd grade struggled this last year, and they struggled the year before. That's our struggling grade, and I'll talk about some trends at the end and why we think that is. One of the big reasons we think that 3rd grade struggles more than our other grades is because that's the year that you go from having the test read to you to having to read the test yourself. And then traditionally our trends have shown we've caught them back up starting 4th and 5th grade. But that first test that they have to read themselves seems to be an area that we have struggled in. So for ELA in our secondary schools, we lost ground in 6th grade, 8th grade and 9th grade. We held steady in 7th grade, and we grew in 10th grade. Like I said, I'll talk more about the trends of that. So for math, these are some proficiency scores that we're proud of. Even though they're still low, math has been our lowest subject, and we have not had a focus on math as much because we've been focusing on literacy in elementary, and there's only so much time during the day. So our scholars grew by grade level significantly this year for math. And you can see that trend carried out in secondary as well. We grew in math for proficiency. 6th grade struggled in math. They also struggled in ELA. That's another trend that we're seeing. It's another transition year, moving from elementary school to middle school. For science, we grew significantly in elementary school across the board. except for one school, JES, did not show growth in science. I know I'm kind of going fast, but I'll stop and answer any questions that you have. And then we did not have growth in science in our middle school secondary scholars. So before I go into this one, to AP exams, some of the ahas that we saw in our data and some of the not so good things, I'll start out with the not so good thing. The lowest areas were 3rd grade, 6th grade, and 9th grade. And all three of those areas are a transition year. In 3rd grade, it's a transition to having to read the test. In 6th grade, transition to a new school. And 9th grade, transition to a new school. So I've already put on my list of goals for my team. We got to look at our transitions because somehow those transitions they're not seamless yet. So that's one trend that we saw from the data. A shout out to Merle Taylor. They made proficiency growth in every grade, in every content area. And so that's a proud district moment too. And a shout out to Biomeda and Bobby Lester. They made significant growth. So that is our Atlas data, kind of in a nutshell. There's lots more digging to do into the data, but that's the highest overview that I can give you.
Okay, I have one more question.
Uh-huh.
Shotgun. Do we have any comparison with other districts when it comes to that 3rd grade transition? Like, do we see this in is this just our district, or is that just kind of like general?
We did, and we followed the state trend.
Yeah.
Like it seems to be
When they go from being read to reading it, okay.
Mhm.
Is it the same thing for going to 6th grade and going to 9th grade? That transition
Or
as well?
anytime there's like a school.
I have not looked specifically for 6th, 9th, but I will look. But for us, that just, not every district transitions at those grades.
Yeah.
And so it's hard to tell if it's a trend or not. You know, some places have 9th grade academy, so it might not be their transition like it is ours. But the whole state transitions for 3rd grade to being read to not being read to.
Yeah.
And my question has to do with, I know we got the transition from the 3rd, 6th, and 9th grade. Does it have anything to do with mental development? Just because we know that some of these are, the 3rd, 6th, and 9th grade is like key developmental ages for frontal lobe and all that good stuff. Is there any trends with that we see? Because of course, we all know that kids are not the same today that they were 5, 10, 15, 20 years ago, whatever, but is there any information on it just for us to kind of understand?
That's what we've started looking into for the secondary pieces, and I don't have any answers for you yet.
Okay.
We will keep looking. We haven't had our scores that long, but to identify these trends, but we had it all on the wall. Today was the first day my team was back, and that was one of the things that was mentioned that we need to look into. How can we better support the transition just with SEL factors, mental health factors, test anxiety. That seems to be a big thing that happens the older you get, the more you develop test anxiety. So that's on our list of things to check into.
I would love just to see how the development is going with the mental health, and because it's so big now, whatever. So if there's something that maybe we can kind of look at when we get ready to do the report next year to kind of see those mental trends. I think it also will kind of give our parents a clue too, and the community, like, hey, like we're doing everything that we can do. However, some of the stuff is out of our control because we already know how outside factors can affect our children and their growth and learning.
So Mrs. Coleman, to that point, I just notified Dr. Walker and our middle school and high school principal, not Dr. P yet, but on Friday we were awarded a mental health grant for both middle school and high school to be able to push in mental health professionals for our students during the day. And so that will start this fall as well.
Oh, that's going to be amazing.
Yeah.
Any others? Okay. I'll transition on. These are hot off the press. These are our AP exam scores. And if looking at those, I hope all you see is that trend line that's just going through the roof because our AP program has really taken off every year. It's gotten better. This year we had the most exams, the most scholars taken, the highest scores that we've ever had, and the most kids getting college credit from our AP exams. So we had 130 for college credit. And just a couple shout outs into the 2D art and drawing program. Our scores exceeded the global averages. And so that is something we are very, 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 very proud of, and very proud of those teachers and scholars. In African American Studies, English, Lit, Human Geo, and World History, we scored we scored equal to or above the Arkansas average. So those are also classes that we're very excited about. And our pass rate was 6% higher this year than it was last year. And last year it was higher than it's ever been before. So our AP program is going like it should, like it's growing. So, and then the last one was our ACT scores. We've come back to focus on ACT scores. Not that we got away from it in the past, but we haven't tracked it as much as we have some of our other data. But it's important for our scholars to get scholarships and to get into colleges and post-secondary. So we started tracking it, and you can see that our ACT scores in math and STEM and writing did not necessarily grow, but they did grow in most of the literacy components. And so we are slowly seeing the gains in our ACT scores as well. And that's all I have, but I will stay and answer questions as long as needed.
Thank you, Dr. Picard. Any questions that we haven't already asked you? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Appreciate the report.
Thank you.
All right, next item on our agenda is public comments. We now open the floor for public comments. This is a designated time for community members to share their thoughts and matters before the board. We welcome and appreciate your input and ask that you speak respectfully and professionally. Please refrain from making statements about individuals, students, or district staff members, and the board only considers such matters upon recommendation from the superintendent. Your comments will be recorded in the official minutes. While we value your perspectives, please note that the opinions shared during public comments do not necessarily reflect the views of the board. And I'll add that it's public comment, it's not public discussion. Did anyone sign up, Ms. Chisa? Did nobody sign up this evening? All right. That's a new state law effective this month, and we'll have that every month. So I assume notice will get out and we'll start having some comments. All right, next item we've got is a facilities report. Do we have anyone from Baldwin and Shell or WER?
Do not see anyone. No, sir.
All right. Well, I've got a legal update, and I see Mr. Richardson's out here. Scott, would you like to come visit with us, or do we need to push that to the end, or?
Happy to come visit.
Let's go. Evening, sir.
Good evening. Primarily here for a case, special ed case that we are dealing with, and to update the board on that and have a resolution proposed on it. So
That needs to be discussed in executive session, is that right?
that would be best.
Okay. Well, we've got some personnel reports later on in the,
I'm happy to do it whenever you're ready for it.
okay, well, let's, we'll just wait till, personnel issues. And do you have anything else to report besides that? Okay.
That's it.
Sorry to bring you up prematurely.
No worries.
Okay, legacy walk. Dr. Owen.
We are finalizing the last two nominees. The actual trophy company is, the actual wall plaques are in production, so hopefully we'll get those soon, and then we can schedule finally the recognition ceremony. But Ms. Lee is taking that on, and we've been back and forth with them, so hopefully we can get those in-house so we can move forward with the celebration as soon as possible.
A little overview of what you're talking about.
So the Legacy Walk, thank you, Colonel McDaniel. The Legacy Walk was designed so that we can honor the legacy of the Jacksonville Red Devils and the North Pulaski Falcons as we came together as the Jacksonville North Pulaski Titans. And so the Legacy Walk is in Titan Circle at the high school, and their patrons, former alumni, business individuals, anyone can purchase bricks that lead up to the actual recognition wall. And on the recognition wall, the board has selected individuals who have really made an impact in the community and the district, and those individuals be recognized for the first time, the first unveiling will be this fall for those individuals, and so we're looking forward to doing that.
They were nominated,
Nominated,
brought to the board, and the board voted on
voted,
it.
yes. Thank you.
Thank you.
Yes, sir.
All right, next item, we've got our district reports, and was that your superintendent's report?
It was. I just had one point, was that with the legal transfers, we had 4 in and 12 out. And Mrs. Lee and I were discussing, in the past, I just reported the number in and the number out. Would you all prefer to see all of them in the packet, or for me just to continue to give you the verbal report?
I would prefer just to see just the number, and I don't need to see all the reports.
I agree.
And if there are ever any questions, we'll have them on file in the office for you to review. But that does conclude my superintendent's report.
Do we have any PPC reports?
The classified sick leave redemption was listed there just for a second reading. PPC did present that at the last board meeting. Mrs. Logan, I believe, is ready for acceptance or action that you all would like to take, whatever action you would like to take.
All right, let me get there. What page is that on the packet?
It is, there's a link.
No, there.
Good.
No, there isn't. I haven't seen that transfer. So the second reading, do I hear a motion from the board?
So moved.
Second.
Got a motion and a second to approve as presented. 8.5.1J, classified personnel sick leave redemption. Any questions or discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Very good. All right, next item we've got is the consent agenda. We've got the minutes of the June 2nd, 25th regular meeting, the June 9th special board meeting, our assistant superintendent's reports, and then also the financial report. Is there anything that needs to be pulled down for discussion on any of that? If not, I'd entertain a motion to approve as presented in the packet.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. All right, student handbook revisions.
It's I believe this is your second reading for the student handbook revision, but I'm going to ask Mr. Smith to come to the podium. And you all have probably seen a lot of action, a lot of discussion on social media about one of our new policies that's in law, and so I wanted him to kind of give just a brief overview of what the committee and the team, the direction that we're going in for sale, bell to bell, no sale.
Bell to bell, no sell, yes, sir. So, I believe it's Act 122 in this most recent legislative session. They made some revisions to pre-existing law. The old law just said that you have to have a policy regarding cell phones to prohibit or allow. It's much more strict now, and the law says that you have to regulate the possession and prohibit the use during the school day. A practice of many districts has been to allow cell phones during certain times, maybe as a reward or as even as an instructional tool at times. However, in the new law, it defines the school day. It doesn't say during an instructional day, it defines it as during the school day. And so it regulates the possession and use. And so as we discussed, what's the best way to regulate possession, talked about potentially collecting them all. Of course, that creates quite a challenge every day, trying to collect everyone's cell phone and then distribute them, and that take a lot of manpower, and that's on a good day. On days when there's snow or something, then that becomes even more of a challenge. And so in the proposal that we put forward, it mirrors the law and for what defines the regulated possession. We say if the cell phone is put away, turned off, out of sight, then it is okay. Once a student takes it out, a scholar takes it out, is using it, then now that becomes a violation.
You know, I was gonna have a question.
Yes, ma'am.
Okay, and so for clarification, just for our parents, is this cell phones, mobile watches, earbuds?
Thank you. I didn't clarify that very well. This is personal electronic devices. I know I'm saying cell phone. It's personal electronic devices, so it's cell phones, smart watches, even Bluetooth.
Okay. Is it any type of caveat, like a certain student can have it and another cannot, or?
Another great, you're pointing out all the things I failed to mention.
I already got the phone call, so I'm just.
Yes, in the statute and the proposed policy, there are exceptions. Those are some of the exceptions that you would anticipate if a student has an IEP plan that, which is an individualized education program that provides that the student needs that cell phone for some reason, or a health plan or a 504 plan. Those are, some of those examples are going to be a student who's diabetic and who is doing live monitoring of their blood sugar. Another exception is if a student is enrolled in concurrent credit and the institution of higher education requires two-factor authentication for them to log in to participate in the concurrent credit. So all of those in the proposed policy mirror what's in the statute. Good questions, and I'm sorry I left them off.
No, it's fine. Thank you.
Yes, ma'am.
We're all in this together. It's a state law, right?
Yeah.
Yes, sir. It's a state law.
Okay. Any other questions on that? All right. Thank you, sir. Do we need to take action on that, or is?
Yes, this is the second reading, and I just wanted Mr. Smith to highlight what's part of that handbook, because I know you all will probably get more phone calls about the cell phone or electronic items more than anything, but it is an action item.
I do have one question, but it's not about the cell. It's about the dress code for graduation. It says that females must wear a skirt, a dress, or shorts that don't show below the bottom of their gown. Why can I not wear pants? I know that there are some girls that are not comfortable in dresses, and one of them belongs to me. And
Dr. Walker, Mr. Smith?
Well, we can always go back. I think you're the first person that has brought that up, but we can certainly go back and revisit that policy. I know that we had some phone calls last year from some parents about wanting to decorate their cap, and so Mrs. Biggs has put in some things that that we were not going to allow that for various reasons, but we can certainly go back. We'll get with the team and get input and look at that policy and bring it back to you.
I agree with all the rest of it. I just think that's a little specific for
Okay.
that part.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Agree. Okay. So student handbook revisions. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to adopt as presented with all the changes. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Item number 8 on the agenda, the ASBA policy review, sections 4, 5, 6, and 7. Dr. Owa.
Yes, as board members, you reviewed and approved section 1, 3, and 7, 3 and 8, the one that the board policies that govern the actual board, license, and classified policies. And per the changes of the last legislative session, you have before you sections 4, 5, 6, and 7. A lot of changes were in section 4 because they definitely aligned with the legislation, the new access, and some changes to the LEARNS or updates to the LEARNS Act. Section 4, if you recall, will deal with the students. And then section 5, academics, 6 is operations, and 7 is fiscal. So those policies are before you and are in line with or in accordance with the state law as they were approved.
All right. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to adopt the ASBA policies for section 4, 5, 6, and 7. Any other discussion or questions? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. Number 9, purchase of a used bus.
Yes, before you, you have an action item to purchase. As you know, we're having to rotate out the used buses that we inherited during the transition. And so we are asking to purchase the new bus defined as those at least 2 years past the date of the issuance of their certificate of origin and exempt from the competitive bidding process. So because this bus that we're asking to purchase is more than 2 years old, we are exempt from the competitive bidding process. So we're asking to purchase this bus so we can replace it, replace one of the older buses in the fleet that we currently have. So the recommendation is to approve this purchase.
Question. What's a new bus cost? Used bus is pretty expensive.
Yeah, this used one is, and typically in the past, a new one would cost about $100,000. Now new ones are almost 150, 175.
Between 150 and 160.
Yeah.
Okay.
But on top of that, they don't come with air. You have to add air, which is another 10,000.
Right.
This one already has air on it.
Sounds like a deal.
It comes with a warranty?
I'll check on that.
All right, do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to buy the bus for $101,900. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. Maternity leave.
So I'm going to attempt to explain this. Mrs. Logan does a better job, but
I would think Ms. Logan would do a better job.
But in the past, when we first had the Lawrence Act approved, it gave us the option or the ability to provide parental leave, which we were able to give it both to the mom and the dad when the child was born. But the new law after the 25 legislative session it amended that and only granted 12 weeks of maternity leave to eligible employees. So the mom would be eligible and we would be able to be reimbursed for all costs of mom being out on the 12 weeks of maternity leave. However, it does not grant the dad leave at that time. And so we approved the ASBA law or model policy, but we wanted to come back and present to you all a revision because we would not be reimbursed for the dad being out for 12 weeks or even 8 weeks like we previously were able to do. And so that would be an additional expense on the district for that. And so the proposed policy before you is to amend that and to be in alignment with the law with the 12 weeks for maternity leave.
So we're changing it to align.
Yes.
Okay. Questions? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second to adopt the policy in line with ASBA's model policy. Is that right?
No, to align with the law, the revision of the law from the 25 legislative session.
What you said. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. All right, chemical vendor renewal, AutoCore.
Yes, a renewal of the vendor that we use for child nutrition, the chemical vendor, and so we're just asking approval to renew that contract with AutoCore. So the recommendation is to approve this vendor for purchasing chemicals.
All right. Questions? Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right. Removal of technology, fixed assets from inventory. We've got several here.
Yes. And in order to retire the technology that we are no longer using and not to receive an audit finding because they're still on our fixed asset inventory, we're asking per policy and law to for approval to remove these technology assets that are no longer in use from our inventory. And so the recommendation is to approve the removal of the technology items.
All right. Do I hear a motion?
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
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 Any opposed? All right, that passes unanimously. All right, we've also, so next item we've got is personnel. We have a addendum to add to the agenda. I would entertain a motion to add the addendum to the agenda.
So moved.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, so this personnel addendum is now part of the main personnel already in our packet. And we've got a report on a student settlement we need to discuss in executive session, and any discussion on personnel would need to take place there as well. So
Motion to go into executive session.
we're moving into executive session. We'll be back. All right, we call us back into regular open session. We've got a personnel list before us, a recommendation to approve as presented. Do I hear a motion?
Second.
Motion and a second to approve the personnel agenda. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? All right, and then we've also got a waiver request for a volunteer coach. Do I hear a motion on that?
Motion to deny the waiver request for volunteer coach.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes unanimously. There was I don't see Mr. Bond here. Is Mr. Bond, did he leave?
You just left.
He just left?
Yeah.
Okay. All good.
That easement? Was it about an easement?
It was about a facilities issue. There was some discussion on Jan Crow previously, and I think Ms. Martin wanted to bring up that conversation again. I think Tommy was going to talk about some stuff at I think we talked about a baseball field or a softball
Yeah,
field.
we originally talked about it and had it kind of mapped out, but it's always a question on the public's mind on what we're gonna do with the facility, and I know we've always kind of had to.
Yeah, we've had some complaints there's some homeless encampments in there consistently, and I know the mayor and the chief of police have been gracious to help try to keep that clear, but it seems to continuously. And then, as Mr. McDaniel, the facility is deteriorating rapidly in the sun, and so we need to probably address how we're going to handle that. So maybe a workshop here, we'll put that on the agenda for the workshop at the next available workshop. Not saying we need to plan a workshop yet. Let's get school open first, but we'll continue that conversation. So anything else, Mr. McDaniel?
Make a motion, we adjourn.
Hold on, I'm sorry.
Oh, wait a minute. That's right, I gotta prove that.
Yes, sir.
A resolution settlement agreement for due process.
Yes.
Make a motion, we approve the resolution agreement settlement.
Second.
Motion and a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you, sir. Sorry
Thank
about
you.
that.
Sorry about that.
That's mine, that's why you
Okay,
can't make
I'm
those.
sorry. Presumptuous. Now, Mr. McDaniel, your
Make a
motion.
motion, we adjourn.
All right, any opposition to adjourning? We are adjourned.